First contact and deception. The massive Zaltorian vessel emerged from the jump point beyond Mars, its crystalline hull gleaming like a sapphire against the void. 6 smaller escort ships flanked it in perfect formation. Within minutes, Earth's early warning systems blared across every military installation on the planet and throughout the solar system. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the UES Vigilant, officially Earth's flagship and most advanced vessel, at least according to public records. At 42, she had the calm demeanor of someone who had seen enough combat to respect its chaos, but enough success to trust her instincts. "They're hailing us, Captain," Lieutenant Commander Hiroshi Tanaka reported from the communications station. "Standard radio frequencies. They're using English." Elena raised an eyebrow. "That's unexpected. Put them through." The main view screen flickered, revealing a tall, elegant being with iridescent scales that shifted from azure to emerald. Large, multifaceted eyes studied the humans with evident curiosity. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am High Emissary Zex Taller of the Zaltorian Alliance, representing 23 species from across this spiral arm. We have been observing your civilization for some time and have deemed you ready for first contact." Elena maintained her composure despite the revelation. "This is Captain Elena Reyes of the United Earth Defense Force. We welcome you to our system, High Emissary." The alien made a gesture that might have been a bow. "We are pleased to find your species has achieved rudimentary spaceflight. Your progress is commendable for such a young civilization." The condescension was subtle but unmistakable. Elena's eyes flickered to the tactical display, where red dots indicated the positions of Earth's stealth satellites tracking the alien vessels. The readings confirmed what she suspected. The aliens were scanning Earth's infrastructure, communications, and defense systems. "We would be honored if Earth's representatives would join us aboard our diplomatic vessel," Zex Tuller continued. "We have much to share with an emerging species." 4 hours later, Elena found herself aboard a shuttle approaching the massive Zaltorian flagship. With her were Dr. Maya Singh, Earth's foremost xenobiologist, and Ambassador Thomas Chen, a veteran diplomat. The shuttle was intentionally simple, a diplomatic craft with minimal defensive capabilities and outdated propulsion systems. "Remember the protocol," Elena murmured. "We appear grateful, curious, and slightly overwhelmed. No mention of Project Aegis or the Sentinel fleet." Maya nodded. "What about their technology?" "I doubt I can hide my interest. Scientific curiosity is expected," Thomas replied. "Just not military assessment." The shuttle docked with a barely perceptible bump. The airlock cycled, revealing 3 Zaltorians waiting to greet them. Besides Zex Teller, there was a smaller Zaltorian with crimson scales, and a third alien species entirely, a floating orb of what appeared to be gas contained within a translucent shell. "Welcome aboard the Celestial Harmony," Zex Taller said, gesturing for them to follow. "The pride of our fleet." The tour was clearly designed to impress. The Zaltorians led them through vast chambers filled with technology that seemed to defy physics. Gravity shifted directionally in transit tubes. Holographic displays appeared from nowhere, controlled by mere thoughts. Energy fields contained what appeared to be miniature stars used for power generation. "This is our central command," Zex Taller announced as they entered a spherical room where dozens of different alien species monitored countless displays. "From here, we can communicate instantaneously with any world in our alliance, despite the light years between us." Elena nodded appreciatively, noting how the Zaltorians watched for their reactions. "Quite impressive. Our fastest communications still rely on quantum entanglement relays. They can be unreliable at times." The floating orb, introduced as Ambassador Orlis from the gas giant Petelion, made a sound like wind chimes. "Your species has achieved quantum entanglement. That is unexpected for your development stage." "We've had some success," Elena replied modestly, "though nothing compared to what we're seeing here." The tour continued to their weapon systems, plasma cannons capable of vaporizing small moons, according to Zextaler. Then to their medical bay, where injuries that would be fatal to humans were treated with casual ease. With each demonstration, the message became clearer. The Taltorians weren't just making contact, they were establishing dominance. Over a meal of synthesized foods designed to accommodate human biology, Zextaler finally came to the point. The Alliance would like to extend an invitation to Earth, he said, activating a holographic display showing hundreds of star systems. As a protectorate species, you would receive guidance, limited technology sharing, and protection. Protectorate? Thomas asked carefully. The crimson-scaled Saltorian, Science Director Nick Svala, nodded. Most species require a century or two of development before full membership. Until then, we would guide your growth to ensure stability. I see, Elena said, carefully measuring her words. And what would be expected of Earth in return? Some resource contributions, of course, Zextaler replied smoothly. Access to certain unique biological materials on your world. Permission to establish cultural exchanges and scientific outposts. Nothing onerous. Elena nodded thoughtfully. Your offer is generous, High Emissary. However, I believe it would benefit the Alliance to send a delegation to Earth first. Perhaps you could better understand our civilization after seeing it firsthand. The Saltorians exchanged glances, and Zextaler smiled indulgently. Of course, we would be delighted to observe your world and showcase what awaits humanity among the stars. Excellent, Elena replied with a slight smile. I think you'll find Earth full of surprises. On the shuttle ride back to the Vigilant, Maya waited until they were clear of the alien vessel before speaking. They're cataloging us like specimens. Thomas nodded grimly. They see us as primitives with a promising planet. Elena's expression remained neutral as she activated a secure channel to Earth Command. Admiral Okafor, the Saltorians have accepted our invitation. Commence Operation Mirror Maze. Admiral Quaim Okafor's voice came through clear despite the encryption. Understood, Captain. The stage is set. Let's show our new friends exactly what they need to see. 3 days later, a Saltorian diplomatic vessel descended toward Luna, Earth's moon. The craft was significantly smaller than their flagship, but still impressive, about twice the length of the largest public Earth vessel. Elena watched from the observation deck of Lunar Base Alpha as the alien ship settled onto the landing pad with graceful precision. Ready for the performance of your career, Admiral? She asked quietly. Admiral Okafor, now dressed in a slightly outdated uniform, with fewer decorations than his actual rank warranted, nodded. Time to be the humble servants they expect. As the Saltorian delegation emerged, led by High Emissary Zextaler, Elena whispered, Let the show begin. The revelation and understanding. Admiral Okafor greeted the Saltorian delegation with deliberate formality at the lunar base's airlock. Welcome to Lunar Base Alpha, our primary military installation. I'm Admiral Quaim Okafor, commander of Earth's defensive operations. Zextaler and his entourage of 7 different alien species looked around with thinly veiled disappointment. The receiving area was intentionally austere, dull gray metal walls, basic lighting, and what appeared to be outdated computer terminals. Personnel in simple uniforms worked at stations that looked at least a century behind the technology displayed on the Saltorian vessels. Thank you for hosting us, Zextaler replied diplomatically. We are eager to learn about your civilization. Science Director Nick Svala leaned toward Zextaler and whispered something. A High Emissary nodded and addressed Okafor again. Admiral, we were hoping to see your most advanced facilities. This base appears quite basic. Okafor smiled slightly. This is our oldest operational base, established in 2075. I thought a historical tour would be appropriate before we see the newer installations. He led them through corridors where personnel worked at what looked like obsolete systems. The aliens exchanged glances, clearly unimpressed by Earth's apparent technological limitations. How many vessels does Earth's Defense Force operate? asked a blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, introduced as Strategic Commander Kirvox. Currently, we have about 150 ships of various classes, Okafor answered, intentionally understating the number. Kirvox made a sound that resembled a chuckle. The smallest Alliance member operates at least 500 vessels. Okafor nodded politely. We're still growing our fleet. Perhaps you'd like to see our training facilities next. The tour continued through simulation rooms where young cadets practiced on equipment that seemed decades behind the sleek technology aboard the alien ships. The Saltorians watched with barely concealed superiority as recruits fumbled through basic space maneuver drills. Your training methods are interesting, Zex Taller said diplomatically. Do your personnel train on actual vessels as well? Eventually, Okafor replied. Now, if you'll follow me to the shuttle bay, we can proceed to the next phase of our tour. The aliens boarded a military shuttle that carried them toward what appeared to be a small, unimpressive station farther out in lunar orbit. As they approached, however, the station seemed to shimmer slightly. What's happening? Asked Nix Vala sharply, noticing the distortion. Captain Elena Reyes, who had been silently observing until now, stepped forward. We're passing through a holographic projection field, Director Nix Vala, one of our more useful technologies. As the shuttle cleared the field, the true installation came into view, a massive gleaming station at least 20 times larger than it had appeared, with hundreds of ships docked along its perimeter. The aliens fell silent, their earlier condescension replaced by confusion. This is Naval Station Artemis, Elena explained as the shuttle docked in a cavernous bay filled with advanced equipment and personnel, our actual primary lunar base. The tour now took on a very different character. The aliens were led through corridors humming with energy field technology, more advanced than anything they'd shown on their own vessels. Personnel worked at holographic interfaces that responded to neural impulses, not just thought commands but emotional states as well. This technology appears quite advanced, Zex Tuller observed carefully. It serves our needs, Elena replied modestly. Would you like to see some of our vessels now? The group moved to an observation deck overlooking a massive hangar. The aliens examined the ships docked there with professional interest, but their expressions suggested growing concern rather than continued superiority. Your vessels seem remarkably armed for a species that has never encountered alien life, Nix Vala commented, studying a mid-sized cruiser bristling with weapon systems. Admiral Okafor pressed a button on his wrist device. Those are support vessels. If you're interested in our actual warships, you might want to look outside. The massive windows slowly cleared, revealing the true view of lunar orbit. There, floating in perfect formation, was Earth's first fleet, 50 massive warships, each bristling with weapon systems and surrounded by smaller escort vessels. At the center was the UES Retribution, a dreadnought nearly 3 times the size of the Saltorian flagship. Complete silence fell over the group of aliens as they stared at the armada that had somehow remained completely hidden from their sensors. That, Admiral Okafor said quietly, is humanity's main defensive fleet. The UES Retribution alone can generate enough firepower to reduce a small moon to rubble. We have 7 more fleets of similar size stationed throughout the solar system. Zextaller's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly. Why would a species that has never encountered extraterrestrial life build such formidable warships? Elena looked at the alien with steady eyes. Because we encountered something far more dangerous. What could be more dangerous than hostile alien species? Kirvox asked, visibly shaken. The human delegation exchanged glances before Elena answered simply, ourselves. The aliens sat in stunned silence in the conference room aboard the UES Retribution. Their earlier confidence had vanished, replaced by confusion and concern. High Emissary Zex Tiller kept looking at the display showing the fleet outside, counting the ships for the 4th time. Dr. Liwei Zhang, Earth's leading historian, entered the room carrying a small device. At 68, he had spent his career studying humanity's path to the stars. His calm presence filled the room as he set up his equipment. "Thank you for your patience," he said to the aliens. "Admiral Okafor asked me to provide some context for what you've seen today." "Yes," Zex Taller said slowly. "I believe that would be helpful." Dr. Zhang activated his device, projecting a holographic timeline of Earth's history. Unlike many species, humanity nearly destroyed itself multiple times before reaching the stars. Nuclear war, climate catastrophe, bioweapon pandemics. We brought ourselves to the brink of extinction repeatedly. The projection showed devastating conflicts, ruined cities, and global disasters spanning centuries. Each time we recovered, we built stronger defenses against ourselves. By the time we achieved reliable interplanetary travel, military technology had advanced far beyond what was necessary for exploration alone. The timeline shifted to show the formation of the United Earth Government and the subsequent unification of military forces. When we finally achieved peace on Earth, we had already developed weapons that could shatter planets. Rather than dismantle them, we turned our eyes outward, wondering what else might exist in the darkness between stars. Science Director Nick Svallo leaned forward. "You built your fleets out of fear." "Out of prudence," Alina corrected. "Humanity's greatest strength is that we prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. We concealed our true capabilities from you not out of deception, but because we've learned that showing strength too quickly can lead to misunderstandings. Like offering protectorate status to a civilization that could potentially rival your own." Ambassador Thomas Chen added quietly. Zex Taller had the grace to look embarrassed. "The Alliance has encountered many emerging species, but none with your unique development path. We assumed your technological advancement would mirror your apparent space presence." "A reasonable assumption," Admiral Okafor acknowledged, "but an incorrect one. Now perhaps we can discuss a different kind of relationship, one based on mutual respect and genuine exchange, rather than patronage." The meeting continued for hours as humans and aliens found new understanding. The Ataltorians shared details about the Alliance's true structure and challenges, while the humans revealed more about Earth's history and capabilities. By the time the diplomatic session concluded, the foundation for a genuine partnership had formed. As the Ataltorian delegation prepared to return to their vessel, High Emissary Zex Taller approached Alina privately. "Captain Rice, I must commend your strategy. You allowed us to underestimate you until the moment of maximum impact." Alina smiled. "An old human approach to negotiation, High Emissary. Always let your counterpart believe they have the upper hand until it's time to show your true cards." Zex Taller's scales shimmered with what Alina now recognized as amusement. "The Alliance Council will need to reconsider many assumptions about emerging species after this encounter. Your people have taught us a valuable lesson." "And perhaps that's the most important exchange of all," Alina replied. "Every civilization has something to teach if others are willing to learn." As the Ataltorian ship departed Luna, a message flashed across the UES Retribution's secure channels. Admiral Okafor read it and turned to Alina with a grave expression. "The long-range sensors have detected anomalies at the edge of the system. Pattern matches the sickness event from 40 years ago." Alina's expression hardened. "So the threat we've been preparing for is finally here." "Yes," Okafor confirmed. "And now we have allies who might help us face it." Alina nodded, watching the Ataltorian vessel grow smaller on the view screen. They came looking for primitives in need of guidance. Instead, they found equals with battles of their own. "Humanity has always been good at surprising others," Okafor said. "Now let's show the universe what we do best, surviving against impossible odds." Alina smiled grimly as she issued commands to alert the fleet. The real test was just beginning, but for the first time in human history, Earth wouldn't face the darkness alone.